السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Welcome back to another episode of Quran Weekly where we read the Quran in Arabic but discuss it in English. I'm Ahmed.
And I'm Safa.
And let's get straight into it. Let's remove the desktop audio. And let's go back to this. Okay. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. And off we go.
إذ تصعدون ولا تلوون على أحد والرسول يدعوكم في أخراكم فأثابكم غما بغم لكي لا تحزنوا على ما فاتكم ولا ما أصابكم والله خبير بما تعملون.
Okay, I think this is kind of talking about the battles again.
Yeah.
Ahad. When you were running up the hill and you were not casting a glance, ولا تلون.
In Arabic, the meaning was ما بتبصوش على you're
تلون.
not looking.
Yeah.
You're not looking at other people. You're
Okay.
not paying attention to anything else.
To anything else when you're running up the hill, not paying attention to it, and the messenger was calling you from behind you or calling you from behind, so he repaid you. He repaid your distress
With
distress.
Meaning because they ran away and they didn't follow the orders of the Prophet during this battle. So they got back that they lost the battle at the end. So it was like in return. So what you did, you got rewarded for it.
Distress with distress,
Yeah.
You got rewarded for it. So that not you grieve over what escaped you, and not what has befallen for you, and God is all aware of what you do.
Yeah. So what you missed, like in terms of winning the battle and getting what people get out of battles, or your distress of having lost at the end and some people were killed and the injuries and so on. So do not grieve over what you lost, what you didn't get from the victory, or what you got as of in the injuries and the
But I don't understand why it's saying do not grieve. So here it's saying so that you would not grieve, so that...
the way I understood it is that this is you got in return of what you did.
Yeah.
So do not grieve it. Like this is what you did yourselves.
Okay, so don't grieve it. Okay.
This is the way I understood it.
Yeah, I get it. Okay, so... Okay, but it's talking about the battle when they kind of left their post even though they were winning, and if they hadn't left their post, they would have continued winning, but because they left their post, they didn't win.
Yeah.
Oh, continue. Ooh, big one.
أنزل عليكم من بعد الغم أمنة نعاسا يغشى طائفة منكم وطائفة قد أهمتهم أنفسهم يظنون بالله غير الحق ظن الجاهلية يقولون هل لنا من الأمر من شيء قل إن الأمر كله لله يخفون في أنفسهم ما لا يبدون لك يقولون لو كان لنا من الأمر شيء ما قتلنا هاهنا قل لو كنتم في بيوتكم لبرز الذين كتب عليهم القتل إلى مضاجعهم وليبتلي الله ما في صدوركم وليمحص ما في قلوبكم والله عليم بذات الصدور.
Okay, long-winded one. Let's take it bit by bit and see if we can break it down. ثم أنزل عليكم, and then he sent down upon you من بعد الغم, from after the distress. أمنة تعاس.
Nu'asan means like sleepiness.
That's okay. But
Being sleepy. Like from feeling calm,
secure, you're
secure
able to...
and calm, so you can sleep.
Okay.
So it says
a sleepy summer.
So the meaning is that there were like two groups. So one group after this battle was feeling very safe and felt sleepy because they were feeling secure, and another group were not. They were thinking about what happened, but we can go through it now. But that's the first part. That
so
they're
security sleepy that overcame a group of you,
yes,
which, as you're saying, and then while another group, certainly they're worried themselves. They're thinking that about God other than the truth. They were thinking in an ignorant way.
They were thinking about God in the way of the Gehiriyah. The Gehiriyah is what they say about the time before the Prophet. So they call it like the time of ignorance, when they call it the era of ignorance.
Okay.
So here it says that the other group were thinking the way people thought like at that time of ignorance.
Yeah. And while they were saying, is there for us from the matter anything?
Like the victory. So
Yeah,
they were saying like, are we going to get like victory out of this?
They're worried about the victory?
Yeah.
So here it says, say, talking to the prophets, indeed the matter is all of it for God. They hide in themselves what they do not reveal. For you, they say, if it was possible for us to do anything in the matter, we would not have been killed. If we could have done something, we wouldn't have been killed. But here, say, if you were in your houses, surely you would have come out.
So even if you remained in your houses, those who were gonna die could have died in their beds. This is because these people who were not very peaceful about what happened, they were saying if we remained in our houses, maybe we wouldn't have been killed.
Yeah.
And we didn't get anything out of this. So here it says to the Prophet to tell them, if you were in your houses and this was your fate, you were gonna die anyway.
Yeah.
In your beds.
Yeah. Well,
in your beds.
Oh, so those who were is decreed for them death, then towards their places of death,
Yeah.
And then they would be towards their place of death. So it's kind of like saying, if it's written for you, it's written for you.
Yeah.
And that might test God what is in your breasts, so that He may purge what is in your hearts, and God is all aware of what is in the breasts. Yeah.
In your hearts.
Then after the distress, He said serenity in the form of drowsiness, overcoming some of you, while others were disturbed by evil thoughts about Allah, the thoughts of pre-Islamic ignorance, as you were saying. They asked, do we have a say in the matter? Say, Prophet, all matters are destined by God. They conceal in their hearts and they do not reveal it to you. They say to themselves, if we had any say in the matter, none of us would have come to die here. Say, O Prophet, even if you were to remain in your homes, those among you who are destined to be killed would have met their same fate. Through this, Allah tests what is within you and purifies what is in your hearts. And Allah knows best in what is hidden in the heart. Okay.
إن الذين تولوا منكم يوم التقى الجمعان إنما استزلهم الشيطان ببعض ما كسبوا ولقد عفى الله عنهم إن الله غفور حليم.
Okay. Indeed, those who turned back from you on the day that the two hosts met, on the day of the battle, I guess, only made them, what made them slip was the shaitan, which we know is the devil, for some of what they have earned, And surely God forgave for them. Indeed, God is the oft forgiving and forbearing. What does forbearing mean?
Patient, like.
Oh, okay.
I think it means patient.
Yeah. Forbearing meaning. Yeah, patience, self-control, restraint under adversity. Okay. Neither believers who fled the day were made to slip by Satan, but God pardoned them. Surely God is oft forgiving.
Those who left their places in the battle.
أيها الذين آمنوا لا تكونوا كالذين كفروا وقالوا لإخوانهم إذا ضربوا في الأرض أو كانوا غزا لو كانوا عندنا ما ماتوا وما قتلوا ليجعل الله ذلك حسرة في قلوبهم والله يحيي ويميت والله بما تعملون بصير.
Okay. O ye of you who believed, do not be as those who disbelieved, and they said about their brothers that when they traveled through the earth or they were fighting, if they had been with us, they would not have died, and they would not have been killed.
So God makes this like hasra means like a burden, I think, maybe.
So God makes this
like a regret in their hearts. So this belief that they have that if these people didn't go and didn't fight, they would have been alive today. God makes this belief as a regret in their hearts.
Yeah. And God gives life and causes death, and God is of what you do all seeing.
Yeah.
So here...
Yeah, it tells the believers, don't be like the disbelievers, the unfaithful who don't believe in the destiny or like,
And then because they were sad about the people that died in the war, and they said if they had been with us, they wouldn't have died. So here it's kind of continuing saying, don't follow down that path.
Yeah, so I think it's also, we talked a little bit about this last time, that at the end of the day, death is completely up to God. So we can try to give a reasoning for why people die at the time they do. Yeah. But I think here in these verses, it makes it clear that don't be questioning what happened and say, he died because he did this or he did that. And at the end, it's life and death is completely up to God.
Okay. No, that makes sense. I get that.
وَلَئِن قُتِلْتُمْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أَوْ مُتُّمْ لَمَغْفِرَةٌ مِّنَ اللَّهِ وَرَحْمَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّمَّا يَجْمَعُونَ.
So here it goes to explaining, and if you were killed in the way of God, or you died, it's certainly a forgiveness from God and a mercy, better from what you accumulate.
Yeah, from what you accumulate in this world.
In this world, if you die, yeah.
Yeah, so if you die in the way of Allah, or
if you die a martyr,
the way we call it in Islam is martyred, or die in the cause of Allah, then the forgiveness of God and His mercy are better than whatever they are gathering in this world.
Yeah.
وَلَئِن مُتُّمْ أَوْ قُتِلْتُمْ لَإِلَى اللَّهِ تُحْشَرُونَ.
And if you were killed, or if you die or you were killed, then surely you are gathered to God. And here we know that this is talking about the gathering of the final day. Whenever it uses that word, تحشرون.
بما رحمة من الله لنت لهم ولو كنت فظا غليظ القلب لانفضوا من حولك فاعف عنهم واستغفر لهم وشاورهم في الأمر فإذا عزمت فتوكل على الله إن الله يحب المتوكلين.
This is directed towards the Prophet. So because of the mercy from God, you dealt gently with them. And if you had been rude or harsh of heart, then they surely would have dispersed from around you. So then pardon them and ask for forgiveness for them and consult them in the matter. Then when you have decided, put your trust in God. God likes those who put their trust in Him, who depend on Him.
Yeah, and I think this is also in the context of Uhud after the battle, because some people left their positions after the Prophet told them not to leave. So here it's saying that the Prophet was very lenient, and this is why they stayed around him. If he was like rude and tough-hearted, I think Khalizah means like his heart is tough.
Hardened,
they would have left him.
Yeah.
So just forgive them for what they did and take their opinion in what you are planning to do. شاورهم في الأمر means like the people who are around you take their opinion about the next steps.
Yeah.
And then if you make your mind on something, so always depend on Allah, because Allah likes people to depend on Him at the end. But I think here it has a very important concept that He takes the opinion of
the people.
In the battles, the Prophet didn't take the decisions on his own, but he was actually consulting the people around him. Yeah.
Yeah, and even consult the people who did run away in the battle. Like you could judge them. You could say that those people, I shouldn't trust them. Those people, caused us to lose the battle. You can have some hatred in your heart or be hard-hearted. But here it's saying, and it's also kind of a lesson to all of us, is to kind of to forgive and to not cut off people that have hurt us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ينصركم الله فلا غالب لكم وإن يخذلكم فمن ذا الذي ينصركم من بعده وعلى الله فليتوكل المؤمنون.
Yeah. If He helps you, God, then nobody can overcome you. For you, and if He forsakes you, then who is going to be able to help you from after Him? And on God put the trust of the believers put their trust. So here it's kind of like depending on God, and this is also, bear in mind, in times of when you didn't have much, your life was everything that you had, so it's just very difficult, and you're facing some very difficult situations, life or death situations, and here it's saying just depend on God. Because who else can help you if it's not Him?
Yeah.
وما كان لنبي أن يغل ومن يغل يأت بما غل يوم القيامة ثم توفى كل نفس ما كسبت وهم لا يظلمون.
Okay, and it was not for the prophets that he defrauds, and whoever he defrauds will bring what he had defrauded on the day of resurrection.
Yeah, and this is also talking about the battle, about what they get out of the battles. I don't know how to call it.
Spoils of war is what
the spoils of war. Yeah, that because this is in continuation of talking about what happened in Uhud. So I think some people said that the Prophet took some of the spoils of war to himself or didn't divide it equally. And then here it says that no prophet would do that.
Yeah.
And whoever would do that, then it will be...
On the day of resurrection, the day of judgment.
On the day of judgment, he will be...
held accountable for it.
Held accountable for it, yes.
Yeah.
And each self will pay for what it did.
Yeah. And then it is repaired in full with every soul, what it has earned, and they will not be wronged.
Yeah, but I have a problem with also the translation of nafs, because nafs is not soul, and you will know in the next verses why this is very important, because nafs is not soul. Soul is ruh.
Yeah.
Nafs is not soul. I don't know. I tried to find an accurate translation for nafs.
Yeah. It kind of means like selves. Like it's the self, like the individual, to each their own. But why is it a problem with it being soul?
It will come in the next verses. It will come in the next. I will tell you what.
Okay, sure.
But it's not soul. It's
Okay.
self. It can be self. Yes.
Self, yeah.
Self is more accurate, I think.
Okay.
فمن اتبع رضوان الله كمن باء بسخط من الله ومأواه جهنم وبئس المصير.
Okay. Is it possible that the one who pursues the pleasure of God is the same as the one who draws the wrath from God, and whose abode is hell, and such a wretched destination that is? So he's kind of comparing those that seek the pleasure of God and those that seek the wrath of God.
هم درجات عند الله والله بصير بما يعملون.
They are varying degrees towards God, and God is all-seeing of what they do. And here it's comparing those who seek the pleasure of God and those who seek the wrath of God, or who get the wrath of God.
قد من الله على المؤمنين إذ بعث فيهم رسولا من أنفسهم يتلو عليهم آياته ويزكيهم ويعلمهم الكتاب والحكمة وإن كانوا من قبل لفي ضلال مبين.
Okay. Certainly, God has bestowed a favor upon the believers, as He raised among them a messenger from themselves, reciting to them His verses and purifying them, and teaching them the book and the wisdom, and indeed they were from before that certainly in a misguidance or in darkness.
Yeah, and this is
That was very
talking
clear.
about the Arabs. The Prophet was from the Arabs. So they had the messenger from among them.
Yeah. And here it's saying that there was kind of like they were in darkness beforehand.
Yeah.
And I kind of like, I even relate to this day. Sometimes I feel like I struggle like knowing what is right, what is wrong, what is good, what is bad. So it's kind of that image of having something in darkness and then coming out to light is something that I can understand and relate to.
Yeah.
أولما أصابتكم مصيبة قد أصبتم مثليها قلتم أنى هذا قل هو من عند أنفسكم إن الله على كل شيء قدير.
Okay, so he's making a comparison. Or when it struck you disaster, surely you had struck them twice of it. So here we know this is kind of referring when you suffered the casualties, surely you struck them twice of it. You said this is from where this is. So this is kind of comparing.
Say that it is from God. It's also referring to Uhud, because they lost in Uhud and some people died and they had injuries and so they were asking where did this come from. So here it says that it's from yourselves because they didn't follow the orders and they didn't do what they were supposed to do. So and then it says that Allah
Indeed, God
is capable of everything.
and is all powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, here the translation is kind of different. They're saying, why is it that when you suffered casualties at Uhud, although you had made your enemy suffer twice as much at Badr? I don't see this. You had struck them. Asabtum? Asabatkum?
Yeah,
Asabtum.
yeah. قد أصبتم مثليها. Like you suffered something that you had already caused to the other party. So you won in Badr, but then in Uhud you lost. So but then when they lost in Uhud, they said, where did this come from?
Yeah.
And then God is telling them, this is because of what you did, of your disobedience.
Yeah. Okay.
ما أصابكم يوم التقى الجمعان فبإذن الله وليعلم المؤمنين.
Okay, so here it's saying, and it did not, or what struck you
suffered.
And what you suffered on the day that it met the two hosts was with the permission of God, so that He may make evident the believers.
So that the believers learn from it. ليعلم المؤمنين, I think it's like to learn from it and to know from it.
So here it's saying so that He may distinguish the true believers, but you're saying it so that the believers can learn.
This is what I read.
I mean, to be fair,
because it depends on the way you pronounce it. وليعلم ولا ليعلم أو
يعلم.
May know. So that the translation here is so that the believers may know or may learn.
Yeah.
But also I understand why the translation here is that He might distinguish the true believers, but I think it's that they learn.
I'm with you on the translation, so that the believers do learn, and sometimes you have to learn the lesson, because life is easy if everything works out, but usually it doesn't.
وليعلم الذين نافقوا وقيل لهم تعالوا قاتلوا في سبيل الله أو ادفعوا قالوا لو نعلم قتالا لاتبعناكم هم للكفر يومئذ أقرب منهم للإيمان يقولون بأفواههم ما ليس في قلوبهم والله أعلم بما يكتمون.
Okay. And so that He might make evident those who are hypocrites, or so He can teach for those who are hypocrites, if we follow the same understanding of the previous verse. And it was said to them, come fight in the way of God, or defend. They said, if only we knew fighting, then we would have followed you.
Yeah, so it means like if we knew that there would be fighting, we would have followed you. So there were some people who didn't want to go, and they said, no, there is nothing happening, while they actually knew that there is fighting. So this is why it describes them as hypocrites.
Yeah.
And
they were to disbelief on that day closer than they were to faith, saying with their mouths what was not in their hearts, and God is knowing of what they conceal.
Yeah.
Yeah, so here, kind of exposing the hypocrites kind of makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But,
yes. Here it's about exposing the hypocrites. It shows you the hypocrites. Yeah. But it can be here that so that the believers may learn, and so that they know the hypocrites.
Yeah, but then they use the same verse. لا يعلم لا يعلم.
Yes, here they learn they learn from what happened, and here they learn who are the hypocrites.
Okay. Okay.
I think it makes sense. I don't know.
Sure, it's just a little bit interesting.
الذين قالوا لإخوانهم وقعدوا لو أطاعونا ما قتلوا قل فادرءوا عن أنفسكم الموت إن كنتم صادقين.
Indeed, those who said it's about their brothers while they sat, if they had obeyed us, they would not have been killed. And say, then avert yourselves from death if you were truthful.
So it's the same concept we talked about previously. Is that they said that these people would have been alive if they didn't go, and if they didn't go to the battle. And then it says, okay, if you're truthful, then don't die. Like, evade death. When death comes to you, just run away from it if you're really truthful. If you can really keep death away from you while you're sitting at home.
Which I find like an interesting phrase, because God is saying, then don't die, but then that only happens once, and it happens at a later stage.
Yes, because you cannot escape. So that's exactly the idea. You cannot escape death. That's what it's trying to say, I think, in these verses, that if it's destined for you to die, then you will die. And in the next verses, it will say, like, every كل نفس, this is why I'm saying nafs is important, كل نفس, every self will experience death.
Oh.
So, yeah, you cannot run away from death. The way you die, I think the idea here, it says that the way you die, you keep thinking about it and trying to justify it, but then it only makes you miserable. You should just believe that death is only in the hands of God.
Yeah.
How you die and when you die.
Okay. It's strange that God would say, try not to die.
Yeah, because you will not be successful.
Yeah.
So
okay.
You will not be successful, yeah.
ولا تحسبن الذين قتلوا في سبيل الله أمواتا بل أحياء عند ربهم يرزقون.
So now here, let me just move forward, move it.
فرحين بما ولا تحسب.
I think it should work now.
Yeah.
And do not consider those that were killed in the way of God dead, but nay, they are alive and near their Lord, and they have been given provisions. Which again makes me feel like heaven comes heaven comes before Judgment Day. For those that died as martyrs, their souls or spirits or counterparts or qari'in live in a heavenly paradise, so to speak.
Yeah, and this is the second time it's mentioned, if you remember, in Al-Baqarah. There's another verse with the exact same meaning.
Yeah.
Almost exactly the same meaning.
Yeah. So usually the way that I understood it before was that, you die and then you stay dead until the day of resurrection, and then the day of resurrection you kind of given the decree of whether you go to heaven or hell. But I think that happens after you die, but while time is still happening, the way that I understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. In Al-Baqarah it says وَلَا تَقُولُوا لِمَنْ يُقْتَلْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ أمواتا بل أحياء ولكن لا تشعرون. That they are actually alive, they're not dead. So it goes with what you're saying, I think.
Yeah, interesting.
فرحين بما آتاهم الله من فضله ويستبشرون بالذين لم يلحقوا بهم من خلفهم ألا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون.
Okay, so talking about the people who are alive, they're rejoicing with what is bestowed them from God, from His bounty, and they receive good tidings about those who have not yet joined with them, who are left behind, so that they will have no fear on them, and they do not grieve. Which I kind of think is a beautiful way of thinking about it, is that, once you're dead and you die in the cause of God, then it's going to be pleasant, it's going to be positive. And I kind of get this concept. I like this. Like when you die, you rise to your higher self, so to speak, and you know that everything's going to be okay, and that everything's going to happen to those that come after you is supposed to be in the way that it's done. It gives me a little bit of, I don't know, puts me at peace, that idea.
يستبشرون بنعمة من الله وفضل وأن الله لا يضيع أجر المؤمنين.
Yeah, so here it's they're receiving good tidings of the favor from God and the bounty that God does not waste the reward of the believers.
الذين استجابوا لله والرسول من بعد ما أصابهم القرح للذين أحسنوا منهم واتقوا أجر عظيم.
Here it's talking about a different topic, so
Yeah,
it's
a bit of
slightly different than what we were talking about.
So those who responded to God and the messenger from after what has befell them of injury, after they got injured, and for those who did good from among them and feared God, there is a great reward.
So this is for after Uhud. So the messenger, the prophet, called upon people to see who can continue fighting with him. So some people, despite of their injuries and everything, they were still willing to fight again and continue with the prophet. So here it's talking about these people, that they responded to the call of the prophet even when they were injured.
Yeah, and the ones who did good from among them and feared God, and there is a great reward.
That they will be rewarded for it, yes.
الذين قال لهم الناس إن الناس قد جمعوا لكم فاخشوهم فزادهم إيمانا وقالوا حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل.
Yeah, this is kind of a very common phrase.
Yeah.
How we explain it.
People say it all
Quite
the
a lot.
time, yeah.
And indeed, those who said to the people,
So these people who responded to the prophet, actually people told them that their enemies have gathered to fight them again, like gathered weapons, or they were warning them from their enemy.
Yeah.
So when they were even though they were being warned, they didn't they were not scared. It only made their faith stronger. Here it says that it made them believe more and made their faith stronger.
Yeah.
And they were only saying Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, which means God is sufficient for us, and He is the best.
He's the best disposer of affairs, the one who's like who owns.
He's the best.
What's the word? The kind of attorney.
Kind of.
Yeah, a person who's in charge of your affairs. Yeah.
Yes, he's the best guardian or.
Best guardian, protector, owner.
Protector. Yeah. Yes. So God is sufficient for us, and He's the best guardian. And this phrase is used very. It's very common in Arab countries. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil. Whenever something bad happens, this is what people say, that we revert back to Allah. So instead of like when something bad happens, and especially if it's something from someone else, like someone hurt you or someone did something to you, then it's good to say Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, like God is sufficient for me, and I leave it up to Him, that I will not go after you or I will not seek revenge from you. God is my protector, and He's sufficient for me. So people say it a lot. I think now people say it all the time in Gaza as well. You will find that they always say this. Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, because like when you are in a really terrible situation and you have no escape, then you revert back to God.
Yeah. So the main point of this verse is that some people told them to the people that were believing in God, they surely gathered against you, so fear them, but then their faith was increased, and they said, we hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, which sufficient for us is God, and He is the best protector.
انقلبوا بنعمة من الله وفضل لم يمسسهم سوء واتبعوا رضوان الله والله ذو فضل عظيم.
Okay. So they returned with the favor from God and the bounty for them, and it wasn't going to be touched by any harm. So he returns with God's favor and grace and suffering no harm. And they followed the pleasure of God, and God is the possessor of the great bounty.
So this is after Uhud, when the Prophet called people to come fight with him again, and then they gathered at the place where the Quraysh or the Mushrikeen were supposed to be as well. And then they won. The other party, I think, didn't show up, or they won. Yeah. So they just were victorious, and no harm.
No harm came upon them.
Came upon them, yes.
And they followed the pleasure of God, and God is the bounty of pleasure.
إنما ذلكم الشيطان يخوف أولياءه فلا تخافوهم وخافون إن كنتم مؤمنين.
Only it is that of the shaitan, the devil, that so is to frighten you.
Talking about the warning that some people were telling them, your enemy are gathering for you to fight you again. Yeah. So here it says that this warning is only from the devil, from Satan, trying to
frighten his followers,
frighten you from his allies, to make you scared of his allies.
يخوف أولياءه.
Yeah, he's frightening the believers from his awliya.
To fear his followers. إنما ذلك الشيطان يخوف أولياءه. Why does it sound like he frightens his allies? And like the way that I understood it is that he's trying to frighten his allies from within him.
No, it means like he frightens his guardians.
يخوف أولياءه.
فلا تخافون وخافوني. But it's talking about the believers, that the devil was frightening the believers from his allies. That's the meaning. It's
okay. Yeah, okay, well, it's one that I didn't quite understand. But anyway, the main message is to do not fear them, but fear me if you are truly believers.
Yeah.
ولا يحزنك الذين يسارعون في الكفر إنهم لن يضروا الله شيئا يريد الله ألا يجعل لهم حظا في الآخرة ولهم عذاب عظيم.
Okay, and let not grieve for those who hasten towards disbelief. Don't grieve for those who race to disbelief. Indeed, they will never harm God in anything. God intees that they will not set for them any portion of the hereafter, and to them is the punishment that is great. So here it's talking about the people who were trying to scare you, and he's trying to scare you from the team of the devil. So those don't be sad for those that were scared, or the ones that do go disbelief. They were not going to get anything from God. They're not going to get anything from the hereafter.
Yeah.
إن الذين اشتروا الكفر بالإيمان لن يضروا الله شيئا ولهم عذاب أليم.
Kind of a repetition here, but kind of hammering the point in. Indeed, those who have purchased the disbelief with their faith, so traded their faith in God disbelief, they will never harm God in anything, and for them is a punishment that is painful.
ولا يحسبن الذين كفروا أنما نملي لهم خير لأنفسهم إنما نملي لهم ليزدادوا إثما ولهم عذاب مهين.
Okay. And they do not think those that don't think that we'll give them respite for them is better for themselves. That living longer is better for themselves. Only we give respite to them so that they may increase in sins, and for them is a punishment that is humiliating.
ما كان الله ليذر المؤمنين على ما أنتم عليه حتى يميز الخبيث من الطيب وما كان الله ليطلعكم على الغيب ولكن الله يجتبي من رسله من يشاء فآمنوا بالله ورسله وإن تؤمنوا وتتقوا فلكم أجر عظيم.
Here's an interesting thought that I got, but I'll get to it as soon as we read it.
Okay.
And it was not for God to leave the believers for what you are in it, and not leaving the believers in the condition that they're in, until He separates the evil from the good. And God is not, and it was not for God to inform you about the unseen, but
The unknown.
Okay.
But this is also the translation, the English translation usually for al-ghayb, they put it as the unseen, but it should be the unknown, the unseen, the unheard, whatever we don't know about.
We can't see, can't access, can't identify.
Yeah.
But God chooses from His messengers who He wills. So believe in God and His messengers, and if you believe and fear God, then for you there is a great reward. Now here's an interesting expression, because this is saying in like present tense / future tense. So believe in God and His messengers.
Yeah.
Why would it have to say believe God and His messengers if the Prophet Muhammad was the last messenger?
What do you mean?
Here it's saying فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرُسُلِهِ.
Yes.
And His messengers, plural. But
Yes.
if it's taking the understanding that Muhammad is the last prophet, then it wouldn't ever need to be plural, right? The last messenger, because he was the last prophet. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرُسُلِهِ.
Yeah, His messengers, all His messengers.
Yeah, but if Muhammad, who this was bringing down to, was the last messenger,
still there was Moses and Jesus. They were also messengers.
But they were long time beforehand.
Yes. Yeah, because it's talking in the present tense. We should always believe in God and His messengers.
Okay. So believe in His messengers. Okay, sorry. No, it was just a weird perspective. Never mind. It's not that important. Okay, so here what's it saying? God will not leave the believers in the condition they're in until He distinguishes the good from evil among you. Now, nor would God reveal to you the unseen, but He chooses who He wills as a messenger. So believe in God and His messengers. If you are faithful and mindful of God, you will receive a great reward.
Yeah, and here when it says, but He chooses whoever from His messengers, the understanding from the whole sentence is that to give him, to let him know about the unknown, al-ghayb, through like the revelations that the messengers get, Yeah. So it says here, God normally doesn't show you the unknown, but he can choose whoever from his messengers to give him that insight.
Yeah. And so he does see the unknown, but yeah. And God chooses who is the messenger and who gets to see something that isn't there. So
Yes, like the revelations that the messengers got and so on.
ولا يحسبن الذين يبخلون بما آتاهم الله من فضله هو خيرا لهم بل هو شر لهم سيطوقون ما بخلوا به يوم القيامة ولله ميراث السماوات والأرض والله بما تعملون خبير.
Okay, and do not consider that those who withhold of what has been given to them by God from his bounty is actually good for them. Nay, it is bad for them, and their necks will be encircled. سيطوقون.
سيطوقون. It means like to have
A hold on your neck.
something around your neck, like the dog.
Oh, a collar.
Yeah.
So
you will be collared with what you
what they withheld.
what you were withholding.
With it on the day of resurrection, and for God is the heritage of the heavens and the earth, and God is of what you do all aware.
Yeah, so do not think for the people who are greedy and who are I don't know how to say bakhil. Cheap.
Yeah,
they don't want to give away from their money or from whatever they have.
Yeah.
Then here it says, do not think that this is good for you. This is actually bad for you, and this would be like a collar around your neck on the day of judgment. And then it says, God takes the heritage of the earth and the skies, because everyone will die at the end, and what will remain is only God.
Yeah.
And there is another verse actually in the Quran, وَكُلَّ مَا عَلَيْهَا فَانٍ وَيَبْقَى وَجْهُ رَبُّكَ ذُو الْجَلَالِ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. It means like everything on this earth is
belonging to God.
Fani, like is not permanent. Everything
temporary.
On earth is temporary except for God. So only at the end there will only be God, and this is the same meaning, that the heritage of all that is now on earth and in the skies, all this will only go to God, because that's the only thing that will remain at the end.
Yeah. Okay.
لقد سمع الله قول الذين قالوا إن الله فقير ونحن أغنياء سنكتب ما قالوا وقتلهم الأنبياء بغير حق ونقول ذوقوا عذاب الحريق.
And now we get back to God's favorite people.
Yeah.
And certainly the chosen people, yeah. And certainly God had heard that there are those of you who said, indeed God is poor, and while we are rich. So we will record what they said and their killing of the prophets without any right. And we will say, taste the punishment of the burning fire.
Yeah, so this is also related to the previous verse that says, those who do not want to give from their money and from their, those who are greedy and cheap and so on. And then it says here that some of these people were saying, God is poor and we are rich, because God is asking us, because at that time, at the time of the Prophet, the context of it is that when they were called to do zakeh, to give charity and to pay, so they were saying, we are rich and God is poor. This is why God is asking us to pay. It's because, and then here it says that this is all recorded. What they said is recorded, and them killing the prophets is recorded. And then at the end they will then witness, or they will taste, actually the literal translation is taste, the torment
that is of the burning fire.
the torment of burning.
Yeah, here they use torment. They use their translation.
Ah, yes, yes.
Which is nice.
Yes, taste the torment of burning. That's exactly the translation. Yes.
Yeah.
ذلك بما قدمت أيديكم وأن الله ليس بظلام للعبيد.
And again, echoing the point of this statement, and that is because you have sent forth that is because you have been sent forth what your hands.
This is what your hands have
brought forth.
Yeah.
And God is not unjust to his slaves.
Yeah.
الذين قالوا إن الله عهد إلينا ألا نؤمن لرسول حتى يأتينا بقربان تأكله النار قل قد جاءكم رسل من قبلي بالبينات وبالذي قلتم فلم قتلتموهم إن كنتم صادقين.
Yeah, here's a little bit of controversy. They said, those who said, indeed, God has taken a promise to us to not believe in a messenger until he brings to us a sacrifice that consumes it. The fire consumes it.
Consumed by fire, and then it says in the interpretation that it's consumed by a fire that comes from the sky. So they asked the prophet to come with a
proof.
With a proof from the sky that the fire comes from the sky to eat whatever they sacrifice.
Yeah. Say, surely it came to you messengers from before me with clear signs, and with that you said why, and with that you said, so why did you kill them if you are telling the truth, if you are being truthful? So here's talking the discussion between the prophet and
so the prophet told them, or that here it asks the prophet to tell them, other prophets came before me and they did what they even got you what you asked for. And then why did you kill them?
If you were telling the truth.
إن كذبوك فقد كذب رسل من قبلك جاءوا بالبينات والزبر والكتاب المنير.
Okay, so indeed they reject you. If they reject you, then certainly they rejected the messengers from before you, who came with clear proofs and the scriptures and the book that is enlightening.
And kadhibuk is not just if you were rejected by them, but if they call you a liar. I think this is the exact translation. So if they say that you're lying, they also said that other prophets before you were lying, and even though they came with clear proofs and books and al-kitab al-munir is like with enlightening books.
But is here is it talking about the Bible and the Torah, or is it talking about more than that? Because this is
it's not clear, I think. It just says the lightning book, or the enlightening book. The enlightening book.
كل نفس ذائقة الموت وإنما توفون أجوركم يوم القيامة فمن زحزح عن النار وأدخل الجنة فقد فاز وما الحياة الدنيا إلا متاع الغرور.
Okay. Every soul, but
But it's not soul. This is why I think it's this
Yeah.
word is very important, because it doesn't mean soul.
Yeah.
It's every self
Every self will taste death.
will taste death.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think the soul doesn't die. I don't know why I think so, but that's my belief, that the soul actually doesn't die.
Well, I mean, if you look at the Bible and you look at the translation, it said that when we were in heaven, when they ate bit from the apple, they died and came to earth. And then when we die, we go back to heaven or hell. So I think death is the way that souls move between heaven and earth.
But they don't die, I think.
Yeah.
This is what you're saying, in a way.
Death in our plane means that your soul moves to the next one.
Yes.
So the soul
but the
isn't
soul
dying.
itself doesn't die.
Okay.
That's what I mean. So if
it dies in the sense of this world, because the soul goes to heaven.
Yeah, but there is something that really dies, which is, I think, your body.
Your body dies, and your soul...
Your body dies because it goes to the ground.
Your soul dies, and by dying in this world, it just means it goes to another world and no longer exists in this world.
I mean, the way I think of it is that the soul doesn't die. What dies is what...
I think we're both agreeing. It's just about the terminology and communication.
Yeah.
But so here you'd rather say self. I'm okay with calling it self.
I'd rather say itself, yes. Yeah. And if you go to Wikipedia for nafs, I found actually a nice explanation for nafs. It says it's whatever is giving you, whatever is making you alive in this world. Like,
it means self is translated as psyche, as ego or soul.
Yeah, I read it in Arabic.
As both individualistic, 248, collective sense, indicating that although humanity is corresponding with nafs, they are individually responsible for exercising its free will. Focus of the Sufi terms, which means sadr, according to Sufi, nafs is an unrefined state of ego, which they consider to be the lowest dimension of the person's inward existence, his animal and satanic nature.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting, to think about the different concepts of what is nafs,
what is self,
what is the soul, what is the body, what is the... But this is the English version of the Wikipedia, but if you go to the Arabic one, it mentioned that in nafs is like what makes you do what you are. Yes, I think here you will find it. It's not here.
Okay. No worries, it's not that important, but we kind of understand that there's a difference between soul and self, and here it's talking about the self. Every self will taste death. And only will be paid in full your reward on the day of resurrection, on the day of judgment. Then whoever is drawn away from the fire and admitted into heaven, so then surely he is successful and not in the life of in the worldly earth. And
this
life of the earth is only an enjoyment that is a delusion.
Yes.
It's not real. It's
only enjoyment. It's only temporary. Temporary enjoyment.
Temporary enjoyment. Yeah, a delusion of enjoyment. Yeah. The last section for today.
تبلون في أموالكم وأنفسكم ولتسمعن من الذين أوتوا الكتاب من قبلكم ومن الذين أشركوا أذى كثيرا وإن تصبروا وتتقوا فإن ذلك من عزم الأمور.
Okay, this is kind of a bit spicy because it talks about the previous believers, the Christians and the Jews as well. But certainly you will be tested in your wealth and your souls, and you will certainly hear from those who were given the book from before you. So we know that to be the Christians and the Jews. And from those who associate partners with God, you will hear from them hurtful things, many hurtful things. And if you are patient and you're fearful of God, then indeed that is from the matters of determinations.
Yeah. So at the beginning it says to the believers, you will be tested in your money and in yourselves. In your says it can mean by injuries or by disease or by whatever happens. So here it makes it seem more like a test. Like the loss, if you lose your money or you suffer any physical problems, then it's kind of a test. And if you and you will and then it says you will hear a lot of hurtful things from those who had books before you and from those who disbelieve
who associate
partners with God. And in that case you should be patient.
And if you're patient and mindful of God, then that is of the matters. That is determination of matters. That is
a good thing that you should do. Then this is what you should do.
Resolve to aspire to.
وإذ أخذ الله ميثاق الذين أوتوا الكتاب لتبيننه للناس ولا تكتمونه فنبذوه وراء ظهورهم واشتروا به ثمنا قليلا فبئس ما يشترون.
And when God took a covenant from those who were given the book, you certainly make it clear to the people and do not conceal it. He gave a covenant with them to tell them, tell the people about my covenant, be honest about it. So then they threw it behind their backs and they exchanged in it a price that is little, and wretched is what they have purchased. What a miserable profit. Now the question that I have now is that a lot of Christians, they believe in the Bible as it is today. A lot of the Jews, they believe in the Torah as it is today. I haven't really studied them that well, but I do know that there are some, the Bible doesn't actually say that Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus says he's the Son of God in one phrase in the Bible, but in the same phrase he also says he's the Son of Man. But the hard part is, like, if someone who had initially created the Bible and created the Jewish scripture, the Torah, had changed it back then, how would people today know that this was changed? And are they considered as a part of this? Because here it's saying that they knew that they were supposed to make it clear to mankind and not conceal it. But the people who believe in what they believe in today, they're not concealing, they're just following what they know. It's a philosophical question.
Yeah, but I know what you mean, because here when it says that some people changed the book, then these people were at that time, they're the one who changed the book. But the people from today, but I think most people know today that the books have been changed. Like the Bible and the Torah, I think that almost everyone knows that.
The general belief in Christianity is that even the changes that are made to it are made by God.
Oh, okay.
That God is preserving the book, and God, when the Bible was created, God chose which passages were going to make it through the people that were debating at the time, and God was preserving it. So the way that we believe that the book is preserved by God.
Yeah, the same thing we believe in Quran, I think. Yeah, I don't know.
It's just a philosophical question that's kind of interesting.
لا تحسبن الذين يفرحون بما أتوا ويحبون أن يحمدوا بما لم يفعلوا فلا تحسبنهم بمفازة من العذاب ولهم عذاب أليم.
Do not think that those who rejoice in what has been brought for what they love, and that there will be praise for what they didn't do, what they did not do. So do not think that they will escape from the torment, the punishment, the torment, and for them a torment that is painful.
So here it's talking probably about, to continue the previous verse, so it's talking about the people of the book who changed the book, that they are happy with what they did because probably it got them some rewards, and they want to be praised for what they didn't do because they also try to look like good people, and that they are that they did something good.
Yeah.
And then here it says that don't think that they will escape the torment.
And for them is a painful torment.
Yeah.
لله ملك السماوات والأرض والله على كل شيء قدير.
Yeah, and for God and to God is the dominion of the heavens and the earth, and God is of everything capable.
إن في خلق السماوات والأرض واختلاف الليل والنهار لآيات لأولي الألباب.
Yeah, here it's saying the proofs of God indeed is in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alteration of the night and the day. There surely are signs for men who are understanding.
And I think that this is also it reminds us to think about these things, like about the creation of the heavens and the earth, and the like having day and night.
Yeah.
The difference between day and night and how it all comes together. Because here it says that these are signs for people who think or people who reason.
Yeah.
Like if you try to understand how this, because definitely if you think about it, then it will lead you to think that there must be something or someone who created all of this. It cannot be all just random.
I mean, I've never been a firm believer of that concept. Like, I didn't think that there had to be a creator. Like, that wasn't the convincing point for me. Like, I didn't believe because I saw the wonders of the world. I kind of take it for granted because I take being alive for granted because you really don't know. It's so hard to conceptualize. Like, it's such a difficult concept, and yeah, it can have a creator, but it can also be random. Both answers made sense to me.
For me, I thought that it's very difficult for all of this to be just random. Like everything, the way it works, the way our bodies work, the way the whole, like, there must be something. For me, at least.
But like,
I thought like there must be something behind it. It cannot be just
the concept of thinking a creator is behind it, a creator that's perfect, is just the same as concept of thinking of a perfect world that exists. Either way, perfection happens at a larger scale, but one is associating a being to it, and one is not associating a being to it.
I don't think about perfection at all, because the world is like, you mean about the way we are created, the human body. Still, we are not perfect. Still.
I know, but like if we're taking the proofs here, the alternation of day and night, and the creation of the heavens and the earth, like they're either created by something that is all powerful,
yes,
or they are created by their own needs. Hello, hi. We're reading Quran, Romeo. Say hi to the camera. Okay, goodbye. Okay, but either way, this is kind of a philosophical debate that can go on. Yeah.
Yes, I think we can discuss it on a
separate time for sure.
يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار.
Almost in response to what we were just talking about. Those who remember God and standing or sitting, they remember God when they're standing, they remember God when they're sitting, and on their sides, and they reflect on the creation of the heavens and the earth. They say, "Our Lord, you have not created this in vain. Glory be to you, so save us from the torment of the fire." And I think the key word here for me is vain. It can't all be pointless, which I think is what you were saying. There has to be a reason to what is happening, which that is something that I always like. My personal perspective is that there has to be a point to everything.
Me too.
So that I kind of have an understanding, not because something had to have created the heavens and the earth just because of what they are, but just because there needs to be a point. What's the point of it all?
Yeah, but still there are people who think that it's all pointless.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact word for it, their name.
Yeah.
Nihilistic.
Nihilist.
Nihilistic.
That
or
nothing
something.
matters.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
nothing matters and there's no point of anything and like.
Yeah.
But
In a way,
I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
I
It's just that we don't get to see the point of it all.
that's what that's what I believe.
But does the Quran actually say that you don't get to see that there's a point?
That you don't get to see the point?
Yeah. Does it mention it? I don't know of any specific points, but we haven't.
I don't know, but definitely it shows that there is a point. It shows that there is a point to it all, to everything. That it gives you a
feeling,
a or like an understanding of the world in a way.
Yeah. Anyway.
ربنا إنك من تدخل النار فقد أخزيته وما للظالمين من أنصار.
Okay, our Lord, indeed you are the ones who admit to the fire, and surely you have disgraced him. لقد أخزيته.
Yeah, it's like disgraced him from Khazi.
Yeah, but I'm trying to understand the grammar of it. إنك من تدخل في النار فقد أخزيته.
So whoever you
have put into the fire, then surely you have disgraced him. Whoever you have put into the fire, surely you have disgraced him. And not for the wrongdoers are any helpers or victors, people who will help them. Okay, clear.
إننا سمعنا مناديا ينادي للإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار.
Okay, continuing the prayer. Our Lord, indeed we have heard a caller that is calling towards the faith, in that we believe in your Lord. So calling for your faith, for the faith to believe in God. So we have believed in our Lord, we have believed in God. So forgive for us our sins and remove from us our evil deeds and cause us to die with the righteous. Yeah. So here
it's kind of a prayer.
Yeah, it's something that you pray to once you have found your faith.
Mm-hmm.
ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد.
Continuing, O Lord, grant us what you have promised us through your messengers, and do not disgrace us on the day of resurrection. Indeed, do not break the promise.
فاستجاب لهم ربهم أني لا أضيع عمل عامل منكم من ذكر أو أنثى بعضكم من بعض فالذين هاجروا وأخرجوا من ديارهم وأوذوا في سبيلي وقاتلوا وقتلوا لأكفرن عنهم سيئاتهم ولأدخلنهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار ثوابا من عند الله والله عنده حسن الثواب.
Okay, so God responded to them, their Lord God. Indeed, I do not go to waste the deeds of the good doers from amongst you, and from male or female, which I find interesting that it kind of just says it here. So each of you
from each other. So
each
you're
of you
all
from
from
each
each
other.
other.
Yeah. So those who immigrated and were driven out from their homes, or were harmed in the way of God, or fought, or they were killed. So I will so I will remove from them their evil deeds, and surely I will admit them into the gardens, flowing from underneath it the rivers, a reward from God, from near God, and God is with him the best reward.
And in this verse, it's God speaking in the first
Person.
person. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is a bit interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
لا يغرنك تقلب الذين كفروا في البلاد.
Okay, do not let it deceive you, the movements, or here it translates to prosperity, but the way that things go for those that disbelieve in the land. So even if they're victorious or they're powerful or they're capable, do not let it deceive you.
Yeah.
متاع قليل ثم مأواهم جهنم وبئس المهاد.
There's a little bit of an enjoyment, but then their abode is hell, and what a wretched place to rest.
لكن الذين اتقوا ربهم لهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها نزلا من عند الله وما عند الله خير للأبرار.
But indeed, those who fear or are mindful of God, then for them is gardens flowing from underneath it, the rivers, and they will abide forever in it. Hospitality,
like a place for them to stay.
Yeah, from near God, and what is with God is the best for the righteous.
وإن من أهل الكتاب لمن يؤمن بالله وما أنزل إليكم وما أنزل إليهم خاشعين لله لا يشترون بآيات الله ثمنا قليلا أولئك لهم أجرهم عند ربهم إن الله سريع الحساب.
Okay, and indeed those from the people of the book, so here it's also kind of referring to the Christians and Jews, there are those who believe in God and what has been revealed for you and what has been revealed for them, and they're humbly submissive, they truly believe in God, or they're humbly submissive to God, and they do not exchange the verses of God for a small price, then those are for them the reward at the Lord. And indeed, God is swift in his account taking and giving back the reward. If you call life swift.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا اصبروا ورابطوا واتقوا الله لعلكم تفلحون.
O ye of you who believe, be steadfast and be patient. But okay, it kind of feels
The other way around, I think. Asbiru is like be patient.
Be patient, wasabiru, be steadfast, I guess.
Or persevere.
Be patient
endure.
and
Sabiru is like endure,
okay.
I think.
Endure. And be constant. ورابطوا.
Like stay in your place or like.
Yeah. So this is persevere. Be patient, endure, persevere, and be mindful of God so that you may be successful.
Yeah.
Okay, that's chapter 3. We're over the big ones, but there's still a few big ones coming up. But thank you all for joining us today. We love you, we appreciate you, and we wish you a wonderful day. مع السلامة.
Bye.